our standard is 8.ee.1. Know and apply the properties of integer exponents to generate equivalent numerical expressions. The objective is I can apply rules. Our objective is I can apply rules of exponents to simplify an expression with an exponent. Our sub-objectives, you will need to understand what it means to square, cube a number. You'll need the rules for multiplying like bases, the rules for dividing like bases, understand the power to a power rule, and then tomorrow we'll talk about understand the rule for negative exponents. Properties of exponents. So we know that 5 cubed means 5 times 5 times 5. In the example above, 5 is called the base, and 3 is called the exponent. So any number raised to the power of 1 is equal to itself. For example, 8 to the first power is 8. 50 to the first power is 50. And then any number raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So if you have 12 raised to the power of 0, that's 1. And if you had 100 raised to the power of 0, that would also be 1. Okay? So if you have any questions at all, stop the video, go back and watch it, or raise your hand and I can come by and help you.
Hey, Mommy.
Okay, so some rules for properties of exponents. When multiplying like bases, you're going to add them together. So when like bases are being multiplied, their exponents can be added together. So in the example below, it says x to the a power times x to the b power. You're going to add a plus b together. When dividing like bases, their exponents are going to be subtracted. So if we have x to the a power over x to the b power, we're going to subtract a from b. And a power to a power, so when an exponent is raised to another exponent, the exponents can be multiplied. So in other words, x raised to the a power times b to the b power, you're going to multiply a times b. So let's look at some examples. So simplify the expressions and leave each answer as a number raised to a power. So we're going to leave it in a form with an exponent. So we have 8 to the 7th power times 8 to the 3rd power. So like the rule says, when you're multiplying like bases, you're going to add the exponents together. So we're going to end up with 7 plus 3. That's going to give us 10. And then our answer is going to be 8 to the 10th power. Number 2, we have 9 to the 9th power over 9 to the 6th power. So when dividing like bases, we subtract the exponents. So we're going to subtract and get 9 minus 6. And we're going to get 3. So our answer is going to be 9 cubed. So number 3 says 4 to the 8th power times cubed. Or times squared, I'm sorry. So 8 times 2 is going to give us 16. So we're going to end up with 4 to the 16th power. Number 4, we have 2 exponents that are being multiplied, that are 2 bases that are the same being multiplied. So we're going to add those exponents. And we're going to end up with 3 plus 0. And that's going to give us m cubed. So number 5, we have a couple of steps before we get to the final answer. So we're going to do the top part first. 7 squared times 7 to the 5th power. Those two have to be added together. So 2 plus 5 is 7. And then we're going to say 7 minus 3 is going to give us 4. So our final answer is going to be 7 to the 4th power. Number 6, we have 5 b to the 5th power times to cubed times b to the 4th power. So we're going to multiply 5 times 3 and get 15. And then we're going to say 15 plus 4, because those would be like bases being added together. And we're going to get 19. And our final answer is going to be b to the 19th power. Number 7, we're going to end up with we're going to first, we have two like bases being divided, so we're going to subtract those. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then we're going to end up with two like bases being multiplied, which means we're going to add the exponents. So 2 plus 7 is 9. So our answer is 15th to the 9th power. Number 8, we have w squared to the first power times w raised to 0. So we're going to multiply 2 times 1, because any exponents raised to another, a power raised to another power is multiplied. So that gives us 2. So we're going to end up with two like bases being multiplied. So that means we're going to add 2 and 0 together, which are exponents, and get 2. So our answer is going to be w squared. W squared. So now it says evaluate the following expressions. This time do not leave exponents in your solution. So we have to simplify these. So 5 squared times 5 squared. So we're going to say, we're going to add the 2 plus 2, give you 4. So we're going to end up with 5 to the 4th power. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is going to give us 625. Number 10. So we have two like bases that are being subtracted. So we're going to say 5 minus 2, which gives us 3. So we're going to end up with 9 to the 3rd power. So 9 times 9 times 9 gives me 729. Number 11. We have 2 cubed to the 2nd power over 2 to the 5th power. So we're going to multiply our two exponents first, 3 times 2, because it's a power raised by another power. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then we would end up with 2 to the 6th power over 2 to the 5th power. So we'd subtract 6 from 5. 6 minus 5. So our final answer would be 2 to the 1st power. And then simplifying that gives me 2. Number 12. We have 8 to the 2nd power, 8 squared to the 1st times the 1st power times 8 raised to 0. So I have to multiply my two exponents. 2 times 1 gives me 2. So then end up with 8 cubed, I'm sorry, not cubed, 8 squared times 8 to the 0 power. And I'm going to add those together. It's going to give me 8 to the 2nd power, or 8 squared. And I'm going to end up with 64, because 8 times 8 is 64. So number 13, I'm going to let you do that on your own. And you should have come up with 1. Number 14, you can also do on your own. And you're going to come up with 216. Okay, so 15 says label the following equations as true or false. Be sure to show your thinking. So on 15, 16, 17, and 18, you need to apply your exponent rules that you've learned, and you need to see if they are going to be equal to each other. So for example, on number 15, you would say x to the 4th power raised to the 3rd power equals x cubed raised to the 4th power. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. So I end up with x to the 12th power. And then I'm going to say this one, 3 times 4. That also gives me 12. So this is true. They do equal each other. So we're going to do that on 16, 17, and 18. Okay, so 16 is going to be false, 17 is going to be true, and 18 is also going to be true. Okay, so now go ahead and get out your homework agenda, and we need to work through problems 1 through 10. Like I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand. If you missed more than one of these, then you probably you need to come see me before you start your homework.